Jai Gurudev. This is Arun Lakshmi. In this video tutorial, we are going to discuss about the looping statements in C++. To begin with, what is a loop? A loop is used for executing a block of statements repeatedly until a particular condition is satisfied. Now, what is block of statements here? So those statements, when you see the screen, when you look into the screen, you can clearly find that there are some statements between the curly brackets. So those statements that are inside the curly brackets is called the blocks of statements, or you could also tell them as a block of code. So these statements are executed repeatedly until what? Until a particular condition is satisfied. See, in the for loop syntax, when you see the syntax of for loop, you could see there is a condition at the middle in the round brackets, inside the round brackets. So a loop is defined as, or normally you use the loop for executing a block of statements repeatedly until a particular condition is satisfied. So you keep on executing the statements repeatedly until a particular condition is satisfied, and that is called a loop. We are going to discuss about for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So in this video, we are going to discuss about for loop. So let's first begin with the syntax of for loop, followed by the flowchart of for loop, and we shall discuss 3 simple programs using for loop. Okay, so first, what is a for loop? A for loop executes one or more statements, and this loop is also called as a counter control loop, and it's the most flexible loop, and hence it is frequently used by programmers. Now let's discuss about the syntax of for loop. Here for is the keyword, and there are initialization, condition, and increment and decrement is placed in between the round bracket. Let's discuss about each and everything in detail. And then you have the statements like 1, 2, and n, etc. N is placed inside the curly brackets. Now let's start discussing about initialization. What is initialization? So this initialization specifies the string value of a counter variable. One or more variables can be initialized in this part. Second is the condition part. The condition here is a rational expression. So the statements are executed only if the condition, only if whatever you give here is true. Only whatever conditions you give here is true, the statements following, the statements in the curly brackets will get executed. So if the condition is false, then the statements are not executed. You then have the increment and decrement in the syntax. Here, the increment and decrement specifies the change in the counter variable after each execution of the loop. The change in the counter variable after each execution of the loop. Then you have the statements like 1, 2, etc. till n. The statements are nothing but the instructions that is executed when the condition is true. So with this it's clear, the statements will be executed only if the condition is true. So this particular portion inside the curly brackets can also be told as the body of the loop. Can also be told as the body of the loop. Now we are going to discuss the flow chart. See, when you see the flow chart, this will clearly tell you how does a for loop work. And see, the number of iteration depends upon the initialization. Iteration is nothing but executing the statements again and again repeatedly. So the number of iteration depends upon the initialization, and the initialization part executes only once. When the control enters the loop, see the flow chart, it is clear. The initialization part executes only once when the control enters the loop. After the initialization, you have the condition. So you are going to evaluate the given condition, and the condition could be either true or false. So if the condition is true, then the control enters into the loop body. See the flow chart, the control enters into the loop body. So if the condition is false, again, of course, it is going to terminate. We shall discuss about that later. Now, if the condition is true, the control enters the loop body. The control enters the loop body. So the statements, all the statements inside the body of the loop will be executed. Then you have the increment and decrement part. So this increment and decrement part is executed, which will change the value of the counter variable, and the control again moves to the condition part. See the control, see the flowchart, the control from the increment and decrement is again moving to the condition part. And this process will continue until the condition remains true. and the loop will terminate when the condition becomes false. Until it's true, it keeps on executing the statements repeatedly. It stops when the condition becomes false. So this is the flowchart for loop. Now let's discuss three programs. As I told you that we'll be discussing three programs which will make you very strong in for loop. I mean, you could understand the for loop very easier, clearly if you listen to this programs. Now see, this program is to display the counting from 1 to 10. You are going to display the numbers from 1 to 10 using for loops, using a for loop. And now let's initialize a variable. You know, every program will always start with the variable declaration. So I'm starting it with variable declaration. Here, you know, the first thing is including the header file. So you have IO stream. This IO stream is nothing but input output stream. So this input output stream is actually needed to execute the cin and cout statements in C++. As you have the stdio.h and stdio and conio in C, you have IO stream in C++. You need to include this library file. Now inside the main, the first line is declaring the variable. C is a variable of integer type. And in the for loop, you have C is equal to 1, that is the initialization part, and C is less than or equal to 10, that is the condition part. And then you have the increment and decrement part where you're incrementing the value of C, that is the variable that you have got from the user. You directly come to the body of the loop. As there is only one statement, you don't have to go for the curly brackets for loop. And in the for loop, we are going to display the number. We are going to display the number because see, the cout has only what? C. Cout is having the, you know, cout is the output statement in C++, and cin is the input statement in C++. So with the cout, you are going to display C. Here C has to be displayed. That's nothing but the number. From what to what we wanted to display? We want to display it from 1 to 10. So this endl, what does this endl do? See, whenever as you have this endl, the numbers will be printed one below the other. When you see the output screen, you could see the numbers are printed one below the other. See, the numbers are printed one below the other. First one, then two, then three, likewise one below the other till 10. Now let's see how does the for loop work. See, first initially the value of C is what? 1. And the condition is what? 1 less than or equal to 10. Condition true. So C, 1 will be printed because you have a cout statement to print C in the output screen. So 1 will be printed in the output screen. With the endl statement, the compiler's control will come to the next line. And then C value gets incremented with C++. So C becomes 2 now. C is no longer 1. C is now 2. So 2 less than or equal to 10. Condition true. So 2 gets printed. Endl control comes to the next line. 3. 3 less than or equal to 10. Condition true. So 3. Likewise, this goes on till 10 it gets printed. And again C gets incremented. Now C becomes 11. When C is 11, 11 is less than or equal to 10, condition false, the control comes out. That is why you have only the numbers printed from 1 to 10. Okay, this is a for loop work. Now, this example, see this example is back counting from 10 to 1. This is back counting from 10 to 1 using for loop. So it is enough if you just change the initialization. The variable is same, C declared as an integer, and C is 10 here, not 1, because you wanted to display the numbers from 10 till 1. So you can change the condition also as not C less than or equal to 10. Instead of C less than or equal to 10, you are making it as what here? C greater than or equal to 1. And similarly, you want the numbers to be printed like 10, 9, 8, 7. So you need to decrement the value. So you don't go for increment operator, you go for decrement operator. So it's not C++, it's C minus minus. Then you have a cout statement to print C value in the output screen, and you know what does endl do? See the output screen, 10, 9, 8, 7. So this goes on till 1. And 1 gets printed in the output screen. Then you have C decremented. So C will become 0 and 0 greater than or equal to 1, condition false. That is why you have the values printed from 10 till 1. Okay. Now let's see one more example so that you can understand for loop very clearly. And this program is to input a table number and the length. See, you're getting the table number and the length both from the user. And then you're displaying the table using for loop. Come to the main program directly. CC int tab. Tab here is nothing but the table number. Suppose you are printing the table 2 table, then the tab here will be what 2 that you will get from the user. And len. Len is something but the length. Till what you wanted the table to be printed. Till 2 10s are or 2 20s are. So even that you get from the user. So that is why you have a cin statement to get the table number from the user and to get the length from the user. So first 4 lines is over. Now coming to the for loop. Coming to the for loop. So with the for loop and with the condition, we shall discuss about the for loop separately, but you are going to display with this program, the output screen will contain the two tables. See, I'll show you the complete screen. See, first the compiler is asking you to enter the table number. You are the user, you are entering 2. Then the compiler is asking you to enter the table length. You are entering 10, which means you are going to print two table till 2 10s are. See, the output 2 into 10 is equal to 20. Till that it's displayed. Now we'll see how does a for loop work. See, till c in length is discussed. Now we shall discuss about for loop. For c is equal to 1. Now c is what? 1. And c is less than or equal to len. Len is what? As per the output screen. See the output screen. Length is what? 10. So c is what? 1. 1 less than or equal to 10. Condition true. So you need to print the table number. What is the table number that you got from the user? 2. So 2 followed by, those contents in double quotes will be printed as such in the output screen. So star will be printed as such in the output screen. So 2 into that star. And then C. What is C here? 1. So C becomes 1. 2 into 1 equal to is in double quotes. So will be printed as such in the output screen. So 2 into 1 is equal to TAB into C. TAB is 2, into C is what? 1. So 2 into 1 is what? 2. So 2 is printed. With the endl, what happens? The control comes to the next line. Similarly, now C becomes what? 2. 2 is less than or equal to 10. Condition true. So 2 will be printed. In 2 will be printed. That star will be printed. And C value is now 2. So 2 into 2 will be printed. And equal to is in double quotes. That will be printed in the output screen. Then 2 into 2 is what? 4. That is printed. With the endl, the control comes to the next line. Likewise, this goes on till the length of the table. As you have got the length as 10, it will stop till 10. So when C gets incremented and C becomes 11, of course 11 is less than or equal to 10 is false. So the control comes out of the loop. This is how the for loop works. I suppose you are all very clear with the for loop. And now in the next video, we are going to discuss about the while loop. Thank you, children.